to go through the syllabus, and I'm just going to hit some highlights and some areas that I think need a little bit more explanation. You need to study the entire syllabus very closely on your own because I treat all students the same, so everything in the syllabus will apply to you. That's me in the corner. Well, it's more or less me. My hair is a little bit different now, and I wear glasses, but that should pretty much give you some idea of what I look like. So if you happen to see me in the hall or around town, make sure you say hi to me. My name is Professor Deborah Oakey, as it says on the syllabus, but you can call me Deb. If you're not comfortable calling a professor by her first name, you can call me Professor Oakey, but I really prefer that my students call me Deb. My office is in H212C on the Cheyenne campus. That's on the second floor of the Horn Theater building, and my office is actually inside the English department office. So just go on into the English department office, and if there's someone there, they'll get me for you, and if there's nobody at the desk, just call out my name and I'll come out and meet you and help you. My office phone number is 702-651-4797, and of course all of this information is on the syllabus. The thing about calling me, though, is that I'm really only on campus a couple of times a week, and so the best way to get in touch with me is to email me. But keep in mind that you need to email me from an account other than Canvas, because if you email me from inside Canvas, the email will go to a Canvas mailbox, and I never check those at all. Instead, you need to use an email account outside Canvas. It can be your Yahoo account or your Gmail account or whatever account you normally use. And of course, my email address is deborah.oakey@csn.edu. And that email address is on the syllabus, and it's also on the first page of the course website, so you shouldn't have too much trouble finding it. And by all means, email me or call me, preferably email. That's better, and you'll get a faster answer that way. Email me anytime you have any kind of a question or concern, and I generally will get back to you within 24 hours. I'm here to help you, but I don't know if you need help if you don't send me an email. Also, my office hours are listed on the syllabus, and I do encourage you to come in and see me during my office hours anytime. You don't necessarily need to call and make an appointment. You can just come in. Of course, if you do drop me an email and let me know that you're going to be coming, I can make sure that I have all the materials with me that I might need in order to help you. But you don't necessarily have to let me know in advance. Just come in anytime during my office hours, which are listed on the syllabus. The course outcomes that are set by the department are the things that you have to do in order to pass the class, and I'll let you read those on your own. Hey, let's talk a little bit about the materials that are required for the course. First of all, you do need to purchase the textbook, which is the little brown compact handbook, the 8th edition, and the information about that is on the syllabus. So make sure that you buy a print copy of the textbook, because assignments are made using page numbers, and digital books generally don't have page numbers on them, so you won't know what to study if you don't buy a print copy of the handbook. You will definitely need a jump disk or a thumb drive or whatever you call a USB drive that you can use to back up your work. You need to always back up your work every time you work on anything for your project. There are only two kinds of people in the world: those who have lost data and those who have not lost data yet. So since I'm telling you from the very beginning that you have to back up all of your work, I won't accept my computer crashed so I can't submit the work as an excuse, because you should have it backed up on a USB drive and can take it to a computer on campus to submit it. So make sure you back up everything. You will need materials for taking notes. Students, for some reason, prefer videos to written handouts. I don't really understand that, because if I gave you written handouts and you read them, all you would need to do is print them out and highlight and annotate the important areas. But since you prefer PowerPoints, you have to take notes on the PowerPoints and save those notes and review them. You need to review them right after you complete viewing a video to make sure that you understand them, and you need to review them every time that you work on your paper when that section is applicable to your paper. So you will need to take notes on these videos. You also need a place to collect any handouts that you might print out, and also other materials for completing assignments. One of the things that you might need is money on a copy card, so that if you go to the library and you just want to have a few pages from a book from a source as opposed to checking out the entire book, you'll be able to make copies. I also recommend that you print out hard copies of everything that you do, so that if something should happen, you have the work done and all you have to do is retype it in. You do need access to the internet, and that's consistent access, because you will need to check your email every single day. So using somebody else's computer really isn't a good way to take an online course. If you don't have a computer of your own that you can take this course from, I really recommend that you withdraw from the class and take it live. In addition, you need access to Microsoft Word. Microsoft Word is the only word processing program that I can open on my computer, so all of your material has to be completed and submitted in Microsoft Word. If you don't already have Microsoft Word, first of all, you'll want to keep your eye open for discounts for students, because the program is much, much cheaper to buy if you are a student and can get academic pricing than it will be if you wait to buy it after you get out of college. Also, Microsoft Word is available on every computer on all 3 campuses, and it's also available at most public libraries. So do your work in Microsoft Word and turn it in Microsoft Word, because if it's not in Microsoft Word, I can't open it, and that means your work earns a 0. As I said, you need resources for printing out materials and making copies, whether that's a printer that you have yourself or a printer that you can use on campus and you have money on your copy card. Whatever, you do need to be able to print out materials and make copies from time to time. And then there's the other materials as required for completion of assignments. I really can't think of anything that would be extraordinary. Notebook, paper, pencils, pens, the kinds of things that you would expect to have as a student. But something may come up that you need other materials, so that's why that's added to the syllabus. Okay, evaluation, and this is something I know that you care about, and this is explained in detail in the syllabus. There's an entire section of work that will count as quizzes and homework. There will be quizzes that you will take online, grammar quizzes and quizzes over material that's been presented and various other things. Also, participating in discussion boards when that's required will fall into this category. Parts of the writing process that you turn in, such as scratch outlines or working works cited pages and things along those lines, and rough drafts, those will be graded and counted as quizzes and homework. Virtually everything except the 2 large papers that we do will be considered quizzes and homework, and those count 20% of your grade. We write 2 papers, each of which will be 40% of your grade. The first paper is a guided writing. I will give you a fairly lengthy list of topics that you can choose from, and you will write an informative paper on a controversial issue. It will be informative. You will not take a position on it. You will not say which group you think is correct. You will simply say, this is what people who support this idea say, and this is what people who are critical of this idea say. And we'll learn how to do that. Your second paper will be on a topic of your own choosing, as long as it's something that is appropriate for an academic discipline. There will be some restrictions. There are a few things you can't write about, but by and large you can choose your own topic, and you will work fairly independently on this paper. Except for some different organizational approaches depending on the topics that you might choose. There's nothing really new presented while you're working on paper 2. You'll be doing it pretty much on your own, although there will be intermediate deadlines. Speaking of deadlines, one thing that you have to be aware of in terms of grading is that, with the exception of a week or 2 during the semester, something will be due at 9 o'clock every Saturday morning. So, and since I don't accept late papers, you have to turn things in on time in order to pass this class. So you need to work on this class every week. This is not a class that you can put off and do at the end of the semester. Also, as I believe it states in the syllabus, according to the student handbook, students should expect to spend 2 hours out of class for every hour they spend in class on homework. Well, if you were taking this live, you would be expected to spend 5 hours in class and 10 hours outside of class. And the requirements are exactly the same. So generally, you should be able to spend about 15 hours a week working on this class. Okay, the course policies. These are the things that can get you in trouble, although we're not actually going to come and, clap handcuffs on you or anything like that, but you kind of get the idea. There are college policies regarding students with disabilities, using the Writing Center, and academic integrity. Academic integrity for this class particularly pertains to plagiarism. And we will spend a lot of time learning how to avoid plagiarism, but plagiarizing in a paper can cause you to get an F on the paper or even fail the course. So you want to make sure that you know how to avoid plagiarism for this class. Course discussion topics. Depending on what people write about, you have to realize that this is a class that's designed for adults. And some of the postings on the discussion boards and other things might present critique of religion or society. It might be sexual in nature, or it might include references to graphic violence. If that type of thing offends you, if you are a person who is easily offended, it's probably best if you drop this course and see if you can find one that's taught by somebody who doesn't design a class for adults. Withdrawal. You have to withdraw from classes. Faculty is not allowed to withdraw students from classes at CSN. The last day to withdraw is stated in the syllabus, is stated on the Canvas homepage, and I will remind you of it as we get closer to it. You have to go through the withdrawal procedure yourself. I'm not even completely sure what it is. If you just stop participating, you'll get an F in the class. You won't get a withdrawal. On a very rare occasion, it might be possible to get an incomplete. In order to get an incomplete, you have to be earning at least a C on the last day to withdraw, and something pretty horrible has to happen to you after the last day to withdraw, not before. Because if it happens before, I expect you to just drop the class. But if something something fairly catastrophic happens after the last day to withdraw, I will consider giving you an incomplete, and it will be decided on a case-by-case basis. If you are granted an incomplete, we have to get together and sign a contract that details what you need to do and the due dates by which you are expected to do the work in order to get a grade for the course. So it's something you need to notify me of in advance. We have to meet in person to do it, and it has to be approved by an awful lot of people. So generally speaking, incompletes are very rare. Late work and using MS Word. I've already covered the fact that everything you do in this class has to be done in Microsoft Word. I do not accept late work, except in extremely rare cases, and again, those are decided on a case-by-case basis. Pretty much, if you are physically capable of turning a paper in on its due date, I expect you to turn it in by the date and time it is due, which will generally be a Saturday morning at 9 a.m. The only exceptions might be if you personally are hospitalized, not a member of your family, you, or if you are incarcerated, because either of those could prevent you from having access to a computer. Otherwise, I do expect you to turn work in on time. Canvas, my CSN, and email. Okay, a few things about Canvas. First of all, I've already told you that I don't use Canvas email. I also don't use the Canvas calendar, so you can pretty much ignore whatever is posted on that. The assignments and what's due on a week-by-week basis will be posted on Canvas, so you should know exactly what's due and when it's due and what you have to turn in. I also don't use the Canvas gradebook, so whatever is posted on there doesn't mean anything at all. I'm not even sure that you're able to access it. If you are, just ignore it because it doesn't have any meaning. For your email, first of all, you have to make sure that your email address is correct on my CSN. I send out announcements and I return papers to that email address. Also, the college sends out a great deal of information to that email address, including information about your financial aid. So you want to make sure that email address that's listed on my CSN is always accurate. Writing to me and telling me that you are using a different email address won't work. You have to make sure that it is correct and accurate on my CSN. Also, you need to check your email at least once a day. There are times when you have to respond to certain emails, and sometimes I only give you 24 hours to do that. So make sure that the address that you have listed on my CSN is one that you will visit every day. Okay, now like I said, I just hit some of the high points on the syllabus. You need to study the entire syllabus and then take the syllabus quiz. If after studying the entire syllabus you have any questions at all, please feel free to contact me via email from an account other than Canvas at deborah.oki@csn.edu. Thank you. I hope you enjoy the class and learn a lot.